So my name is Jose Martinez, and I'm gonna be teaching my buddy here, um, Wilson, some Texas government, and we're gonna start off by talking the Texas political culture. The political culture is the value and beliefs of the people. Is what they believe in. This is what they follow. The things they usually like their daily lives, like the things they believe they follow. And the political culture is confused by the partisanship, which is partisanship is the political party identification, such as many people either believe in the party of the Democrats or the the or the Republicans, and many people believe that since if someone's democratic, they should follow all the democratic ideas, which is not true, because many people share many of ideas from both sides. In the state of Texas, we have several cultural regions. We have the East Texas region, the Gulf Coast, the South Texas. We got the Far West Texas, the German Hill County, West Country, West Texas, the Panhandle, North Texas, and the Central Texas. In here, the state of Texas, last time recorded in 2015, the population was divided into 43% Anglo, 40% Latino, 11% African American, 4% Asian American, and 2% was other. We go into the Texas Constitution. The first Constitution was the Republic of Texas Constitution of 1836. This Constitution, given their independence from Mexico, they carefully separated the state from the church, and in this Constitution they opposed many things. The reason they separated from Mexico is because they didn't believe many of Mexico ideas. So this is what they established in the Constitution, such as they had slaves because Mexico at the moment they abolished slaves, so they opposed Mexico's anti-slavery policies, and then they denied citizenship for any African American or Native Americans, and for a slave owner to free any slaves, they had to get consent from the Congress. At the moment, the presidential term was 3 years, and throughout this constitution came a lot of, you can say, laws. We have the homestead, which means the owners occupy property protected from sale, which just kind of means when, like, if you stay in the land, that land kind of becomes yours. And then we have the community property, which basically means that at marriage, everything that you own becomes 50% from your other significant other. So when you guys divorce, such as a house, the house value is divided between both you and your significant other, and then we have the common law, which is a law created by judicial ruling and customs act. In customs, I think Hasidari government was created, and then we have the Constitution of 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 1845, which is this is the Constitution after they admitted into the U.S. This Constitution is twice as long, and it restricts the power of the legislature. The bank corporations is illegal. Two-thirds of votes of the House of Representatives to establish a corporation. They limit the statehood debt to 100,000. Establish permanent school funds, and one amendment to limit governor power. Then we have the Constitution of 1869, which centralizes the state power to the governor. The governor has a term to 4 years, appointed to all major state officers and judges, centralizes public school systems, it has annual legislative session, weakening local government. And then we have the Constitution Convention of 1875, which was mostly built by Democrats. It cuts salaries, limits on property taxes, restricted state borrowing, straight governor's power, term from 4 to 2 years, Attorney General and state judges are must be elected. Elections held every 2 years. Restrictions on policy must be passed, and local government restrain functions. The Texas Constitution today contains 87,000 words in length. This is 9 times longer than the U.S. Constitution. It's the second in length in the U.S. The first one is Alabama's, and Article 1 is the Texas Bill of Rights. The Texas Constitution today contains Article 1, which is the Bill of Rights, Article 2, the power of government, Article 3, the legislative department, Article 4, the executive department, Article 5, judicial department, Article 6, suffrage, Article 6, education, Article 8 contains taxation and revenue, Article 9 contains counties, Article 10 contains the railroads, Article 11, municipal incorporations, Article 12, private corporations, Article 13, Spanish and Mexican land titles, Article 14, public land and land office, Article 15 is impeachment, Article 16 is general provision, and Article 17 is the mode of amending the Constitution of the state. Here in Texas, this is called a red state mostly because it's a more republic state, and but it's not all republic. Most of the democratic places are found near the coast, between the border of Texas and Mexico. Where's it not changing? So so we talk about federal, which is a split of power between independent states and a central government power and shared. We have the confederal, which is an association of independent state power rests in each state, whose representative meets to address the needs of the group. Unitary, which is the power rests in the central government, state have no power of their own. We have different type of grants, which is the categorical grants, which federal aid for specific purposes. You must need a specific purpose, has restrictive conditions, matching funds for the receivers, and has a fixed ratio. Well, it's different from the block grant because the block grant has a general purpose and has very few restrictions. Now we have the terms and session of the legislature. The term limits legally mandates the restriction of the number of times that a politician can be re-elected to an office or the number of years that a president may hold that office, such as the president can only serve 2 terms and each term can only serve 4 years each time. We have the senator, which is 4 years each term. Half of the elected senators must go to re-elections every 2 years. So for example, if there's 8 people, 4 of them must be re-elected after the first 2 years, and then the other half will be re-elected the other 2 years. The entire Senate every 10 years after the census then draws for 2 years term. The representatives have a 2 years terms. Wait, I missed that. I need that. That's important. Oops. So, of Asian Americans, there's a 4% out of 2% ratio. African Americans is 11% ratio. For Latinos, there's a 40 to 23% ratio, and Negros there's a 43% to a 65% ratio, and for females there's a 50% to a 20% ratio, and for males there's a 50 to 80% ratio, which basically this is a ratio of basically the people who run for legislative, and basically tells us that many people who hold the power are all white men. For office of governor, it's To be a governor, you must be a U.S. citizen, resident of Texas for 5 years, immediately preceding election, must be 30 years or older, serve a 4 year term, and there's no term limit, meaning that they can serve as many times they want, but have to go to a re-election every 4 years. The longest ever governor we ever had was Rick Perry, who served 14 years. Attention, removal and cessation, compensation, and staff. Impeachment, formal charges, indictment, convention, and removal. Which impeachment means that if by any chance the government can be voted off as the governor. They can be removed either by removal, death, or resign. They have military power, which is commander of chief of the state militia. This is found in Article 5, Section 7. Martial law keeps up peace and protected property. There's the Texas State Guard, which is created after World War II as a backup, and it receives no pay unless mobilized. And there's basically meaning that people who serve for the Texas State Guard is basically giving their service. It's basically like giving community service. And then there's the federal government cannot. Then there's the Texas National Guard, which is financed by the feds, and our Army and Air Force components. The plural executive is the lack for a former cabinet. They're selected independently from this governor. All elected have a 4 year term, 4 year terms. Exception are commissioners. Seekers they have some exception are the RR commissioner, which serve a 6 year term every 2 years. Our lieutenant governor is Dan Patrick, member of the executive and legislative branch, president of the Senate, legislative budget board, legislative council, legislative audit committee, and sunset retrospective committee, and legislative criminal justice board if desired. Our attorney general is Ken Paxton. Is one of the four most powerful offices in Texas. Is a lawyer for all officials, boards, and agencies. Child support enforcement. What's that? Institutional actions, medical fraud, crime victims, compensations, consumer protection, and other civil actions concerning insurance, banking, and securities. Attorney General opinions, interpretations of the Constitution, statutory laws, or administrative rules. Representation of the state in civil and criminal legislative. We have Comptroller of Public Accounts, which is Glenn Hager, which is Chief Tax Collector, Chief Pre-Audit Accounting Officer, Chief Treasurer, and Clearer of State Biennial Revenue. For Commissioner of the General Land Office is George P. Bush. Is managing and collection of income from rentals and leases on state-owned land, award oil, gas, and hand mineral leases. Texas Open Benches Act is a veteran land board established after World War II, loans money to the veterans for land and whole purchases or improvement in 4 cemeteries. School Land Board oversees 13 million acres of public land and mineralized properties, including the Gulf Coast. We have the Railroad Commissioners, which is the overseas of oil, natural gas industries, pipelines, transporters and natural gases, and harsher liquids pipeline industries, natural gas utilities, and coal and uranium surface mining operation. Possibilities under federal law surface, coal mining control, Reclamation Act of Safe Drinking Water Act, Pipeline, SAFE Act, Resource of Compensation Recovery Act, and Clean Water Act. Does not have any judicial or over railroads. So basically that means that they have nothing to do with railroads. All their business is based on big companies such as oil pipelines, coal, uranium, natural gases type of business. Now we have the Commissioner of Agriculture, which is Sid Miller, which is the Texas Department of Agriculture, 1907, administration of all laws, as well as researchers, educational, and regulatory activities, range from scanners at grocery stores to gas pumps, labeling procedures. Besides, basically, his job is to to know that most machines as places or working, such as the gas pumps, are not corrupted because there's people who corrupt the gas pumps, and then that the scales like at grocery stores are leveled. And that's most of the people on office in here in Texas, and that's most of the information from Texas government.